All right. Welcome to the 10-Minute Spark Live. I'm Olivia Odeleke, and today we're diving into how tech tools can ignite curiosity in any classroom. I am thrilled to be joined by the incredible Dr. Rachelle Dené Poth, educator, author, and ed tech innovator, who's here to spark new possibilities in your teaching. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Turn my theme music off here.
I love
Jump
the
right
theme
into
music.
it. The theme music. So happy to have you here with us today. I'm gonna
Yeah.
jump right in it because it's only 10 minutes. So my
Okay.
first question, and just swallow it because it's kind of deep. You've
Okay.
explored so many emerging technologies. Which one do you think offers the most immediate and powerful opportunity to spark student curiosity? And how
Mhm.
can a teacher begin experimenting with it without feeling overwhelmed?
Great question. And it puts me on the spot because I have to pick one. And that's one of the things I don't ever like to just pick one thing. But I will say, I'm going to go with AI because for a couple of reasons. One, because I have been working with it in my own classroom for about 7 years, and the way that that looks has changed, of course, in the last two and a half. Ever since ChatGPT came out, we have all these generative AI tools, and I was coming at it at an angle of just wanting students to know what it was. How does it work? Where do we see it in our daily lives? We have conversations about it. And that has shifted to now students are engaging and using some different tools that are out there. But when it comes to curiosity, when I started with ChatGPT with my students, when it first came out, it was an eighth grade class. And I kept the screen hidden from them at first. And I said, just give me some, random things. And I named like objects, places, animals, and I had to create a story. And then I asked them, questions about it. Then I had them read about it. And then they started to ask questions like, well, what if you did this? Or what if you changed that? So it sparked some like interest in it, more questioning. And they didn't often ask a lot of questions in class. So that's one thing that I notice about it, especially at the beginning part. But the other thing is, depending on their age too, when you can get that AI in some format in their hands. If they're old enough to use a ChatGPT or something else where they can use it as something that they can co-write a story and have some fun with that, or then ask questions that they need answers to. Things like project-based learning. If a teacher gives them different prompts, for example, and maybe they're a little bit kind of interesting, either they're funny or there's errors in them or something, and they ask students to like break it apart and figure out like what's wrong with it. Is there something that you would change about it, or how do you think it might answer, and get students to think at like higher levels, but also kind of be predicting what might happen or just be interested in it. And the part I like about doing different activities in class, whether you're just young learners teaching them about what AI is, and not even on screens, just in conversations, but how might it work? How might it improve and enhance things in the world? And then taking it up a higher level for like project-based learning, where students think about challenges that are being faced in the world. And gee, I wonder if AI could be a solution to this problem that somebody is facing or experiencing. And could I design something like that? So then they become curious about the resources that are available to them. And in that process, they're also building a lot of those other essential skills we keep talking about that they need. And since AI is listed as the number 3 skill in demand on the World Economic Forum's top 10 list for 2027, I know, look at that. It came from not being anywhere on there. But the good thing about it is the other skills that are on there are like the essential human skills. And so if students have an opportunity to become curious about it, and maybe it's just like a thought partner in some of the different platforms that we know we vetted and are safe for our students to use, then they can ask different questions of things that they are curious about. And it might spark some other interest in something that they really didn't know that they had. And I've done that in my classroom by making custom chatbots or custom tutor. And you can see everything the students ask it. And it's funny sometimes to see what their interests are, but it's also really rewarding because you're helping them to develop the skills to know how to use it in a way that is safe and ethical and responsible. It's not taking away their opportunity for learning. And you also learn about them. So it's helping you to build relationships and have conversations with them. And it's just something that for me, I love learning with and from them, and it leads to a lot of laughs and curiosities in the classroom. Like, oh, I wonder if it would do that. So, uh,
I love that too. I want to say I've been faithfully using AI for about 3 years myself, and I kind of find it like a brainstorming
mhm,
partner because we have a lot of thoughts in our minds and we don't know, and you can test things out.
right.
So I heard you say a lot of things about, AI. I can just randomly take some things, throw it in there, see what happens. But again, just let's just say I'm a novice teacher and this AI, I keep hearing about it, haven't played with it. What's just one thing I can do to start it off? Like, where would I start it off in my lesson?
Easy thing that I recommend quite often, especially because elementary educators are ones that express a lot of concern about getting students on the devices. And I say, and the time is like the number one factor in any training or any colleagues that I've spoken with. I'm like, what is holding you back? And it's like, there's not enough time. I suggest just taking something that generates an image. Think about the lesson that you're teaching in your classroom and have it generate an image as a hook. And then that can be a way for students that they have a conversation about it. Maybe they write some kind of a narrative about it or a funny story about it. Like we know that it doesn't always generate things that are accurate. Like you
Yes.
might have 7 fingers or 4 arms or something. But depending on your prompt, but something just as simple as that, putting in a quick prompt and having it generate an image, it's just a conversation starter. It's a hook into a lesson. I think that's a really easy way to do that. And you can
I
do that
love
with a
that. And
lot
then
of
also it
tools.
kind of gives a concrete concept, like a concrete, something concrete to go with the lesson. So would they kind of paste the lesson in to ChatGPT and say, hey, what are some images that I could show my students to hook them into the lesson or to give them a concept of what we're going to explore?
Yes, I have done that. I always say, uh, clear, concise, specific, but I say sometimes you don't really want to be very concise because when you sit down, if you just ask it for anything and everything you could possibly want, or if you have objectives or whatever information is, as long as you're not putting in any personally identifiable information, that's no
Yes.
students' names or anything like that, but pasting that in and saying, okay, what kind of an image? And give it parameters too, and say, I'm teaching students that are in this grade, they're just starting this topic or whatever other information to kind of like build around it. And then you're going to get a better product or output from it. But it's always fun to see what it comes up with every time. And like, can you make this a little better? If it has words, can you not put words in it because you don't spell them correctly? All of the things. They're all
Yeah, and the
they're all
more
good.
you talk to it, the more you program it. Well, I had another question, but I think you're gonna say AI again, because basically, student teachers struggle with time and sometimes a fear of failure. And I was thinking of one tool you would recommend that's low fit but high impact for
Mhm.
shifting that mindset. And I'm thinking it's gonna be AI again.
It it definitely could be AI, but the other, if I have a backup, a second that
Yes.
I would say any of the tools like augmented virtual reality tools that enable students to kind of immerse in different learning experiences, because even something like where kids can look at a
20
volcano
seconds. Uh-huh.
and it's just like you don't have to create it. There's lessons and resources out there. I think it's fun for them and it's fun for you to learn too.
Well, I think that's a wrap. You summed up the tool AI, and we're actually going to be demoing the Spark Curiosity GPT Coach, which actually helps teachers create these curiosity based lessons focused on the concept and using images. And I just wanted to highlight our conference is coming up in just a few weeks in Austin, Texas,
Mhm.
June 19th and 20th. And if you put a comment, we can send you a little discount code if you would like to attend, where we're going to talk about tech tools, but also how do we design these lessons to focus on discovery first and delivery, because the AI tool is about
Mhm.
discovery. It's about what's in their mind, what's on their hearts. And the other thing is we got to get them experimenting with it themselves. So, on that note, we're going to end it with some last words. Any little last words? Because it's the 10-minute spark. We just got a spark. That's it.
The last minute words are, don't feel like you have to be an expert to dive into something that's new. You just have to start and let the kids take it and run with it, and you just learn with them and have fun in the process.
Just learn with them. And we're going to end today's episode with a new song called Every Discovery Begins with a Spark. This is Disney inspired. Play that, but thank you so much for tuning in. We hope to see you next Wednesday on the Spark, the 10-minute Spark Live.
So bright, questions dancing in the night. Why do they twinkle? Why do they glow? So many wonders we can know. What makes a rainbow after the rain? How do birds fly across the plain? Curiosity leads the way to discoveries every day. Every discovery begins with a spark, a tiny question in your heart, a moment of wonder, a curious thought. That's how the greatest dreams are carved. Every discovery starts with why, reaching for answers in the sky. Just follow that spark wherever it leads. That's how we plant tomorrow's seeds.
All right, the full song is going to be released at the Spark Curiosity Conference. We're just giving you a little sample. Getting a little sample. Thank you so much again for those of you who are watching, and thank you, Rachelle, for joining us. And I hope to see you again, either virtually or your event. You have an event going on June 3rd, right? 7 p.m.
Lots of things going on. Yes, yeah. It's coming up
Okay.
next week, 7 p.m. That's right.
On about AI. So you want to learn more about it, tune in to her.